Yeah. Okay.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking this interview.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a usability evaluation of the ATO website. Are you familiar with the ATO website?
Yep.
Could you open the website in your phone and take a
Mm-hmm.
look at the
Okay.
website so I can ask you some questions?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you're ready, just tell me. I'll throw the questions at you.
I am ready.
Okay, so again, the first question is, can you
Mm-hmm.
describe your overall experience navigating the ATO website,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on its ease of use?
Okay. I'm familiar with the tax systems, but even then, the ETU website isn't as efficient as it could be. For professionals, it's frustrating because repeated tasks require too many clicks and redirects. There is no streamlined workflow.
Okay, again, that was a great answer.
Mm-hmm.
So the second question is, were
Mm-hmm.
there any points during your task where you felt confused or frustrated? If so, could you explain what caused the issue?
Mm-hmm. The portal login process is unnecessarily complex. I face delays when switching between client accounts due to poor session management and unclear navigation once inside the portal.
Okay. The third question again, how would
Mm-hmm.
you describe the website's layout and design in helping you locate any important information or services?
Mm-hmm. Mm. The layout doesn't prioritize frequent users. There should be shortcuts or like customizable menus for professionals.
Okay,
The static design ignores the fact that different users have different needs.
that was a great answer.
Mm-hmm.
The other question is, did you find the language, the terminology,
Uh-huh.
and the instruction on the website clear and easy to
Mm-hmm.
understand? If so, could you
Mm-hmm.
provide an example where it was either helpful or confusing?
Mm-hmm. While I understand the technology, I can see how the average user would struggle. Even for me, the inconsistent structure of pages where some have summarized summaries
Yeah?
and others just blocks of text creates inefficiencies.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Again,
it.
this will be the last question
Mm-hmm.
for you. If you could recommend
Okay.
any key improvements to enhance the usability of the
Uh-huh.
ETO website,
Mhm.
what would they be and
Uh-huh.
why?
Um, Implement customizable dashboards, improve session management for professional accounts, and offer more consistent page layouts across services.
Mhm.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you again. Those were
Okay,
all
thank you.
wonderful answers. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you
this
so much for having
interview,
me.
and I'll
Mm-hmm.
see you next time.
Okay.
Good morning, Sonam.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking this interview.
You're welcome.
I'm doing a usability evaluation on the ETU website, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you some questions. Are you familiar with the ETU website?
Yes.
That's great. Can you open the website and go through it once?
Okay, just give me a moment.
And when you're ready, I'll ask you some questions.
Okay, I just got it. I got it.
So, the first question, can you describe your overall experience navigating the ETU website, focusing on the ease of use?
So I only visit the ETO website once or twice a year, and every time feels like starting from scratch. It's not intuitive, and I usually feel anxious that I might miss something important because there's no clear guidance.
That's a great answer. Another question. Were there any points during your task where you felt confused or frustrated? If so, please explain what caused these issues.
I first felt frustrated when searching for how to update my bank details. The process wasn't obvious, and I ended up in unrelated sections before figuring out I had to log into my GOV and link services, which wasn't clearly explained.
Thank you. Another question for you. How would you assess the website's layout and design in helping you locate important informations and services?
So the design is plain and uninspiring. There's too much reliance on menus without any dynamic help. A chatbot or a common tasks section would have saved me a lot of time.
Okay. Did you find the language, terminology, and instruction on the website clear and easy to understand? Can you provide an example where it was either helpful or confusing?
Mm, The language assumes prior knowledge. For example, when reading about tax offsets, it wasn't clear who qualifies without digging into multiple pages. It should be more direct and user focused.
Okay. This is the last question for you, Sonam. If you could recommend three key improvements to enhance the usability of the ATO website, what would they be and why?
It would be add a prominent, most common task section, integrate a chatbot for simple queries, and provide clearer guidance for infrequent users like me. That's it.
Thank you so much, Sonam. That was a great interview, and thank you for the answers.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Good morning, Biran. Thank you for taking
Hi
your
there.
time to do this interview today. I'm doing
Thank you.
a usability evaluation of the ATO website. Are you familiar with the ATO website, Biran?
Yes, I am.
If you don't mind, would you look up the ATO website in your any devices that you have for a couple of minutes until you are ready, so I can ask you some questions?
For sure. Yes, I'm into it.
Okay, so are you ready for some questions then?
Sure.
Okay, Biran. So the first question is, can you describe your overall experience with the ATO website, focusing on its ease of use?
Mm, the overall experience was quite overwhelming. At first glance, the homepage looked cluttered, and I wasn't sure where to begin. Even though I'm fairly tech savvy, I found the structure unintuitive. It felt like the website was designed more for people who already know how tax systems work, rather than everyday users like me trying to launch a simple tax return.
Okay, so the second question is, were there any points during your task where you felt confused or frustrated? If so, could you explain what caused this issue?
Yes, I got particularly frustrated when trying to locate the section of AVN registration.
Yeah.
The search bar gave me too many unrelated links,
Mm-hmm.
and the menu navigation didn't clearly highlight where I needed to go.
Okay.
I ended up clicking through several pages before finding the correct form.
Okay, Diran. Now for question number three, how would you assess the website's layout and its design in helping you locate its services and any information?
The layout feels outdated and lacks a clear hierarchy. Important services are buried under layers of menus and links. There's too much text on many pages, which made me skim through and miss few points.
Okay.
A dashboard or a guide prompt would have made things easier.
Okay. So question number 4. Did you find the language, the terminology, and instruction on the website clear and easy to understand? Could you provide some examples where it was either helpful or confusing?
Mm, the language was formal and filled with jargons. For example, terms like concessional contributions that weren't explained in simple terms. For that, I had to Google certain phrases just to understand what they mean.
Okay.
However, the FAQ section was somewhat helpful once I found it.
Fantastic. Biran, this will be your final question for today's interview. If you could recommend three key improvements to enhance the usability of the ATO website, what would they be and why?
First, simplify the homepage with a clear call to action for common tasks.
Yeah?
Secondly, improve the search functionality to provide more relevant results.
Yep.
And third or lastly, reduce the use of technical language or include tool tips explaining complex terms in plain English for people like me.
Fantastic. Those were all great answers, Biran. Thank you for your time today for this interview. Good morning, Dupa.
Morning.
Thank you for taking this interview with me today. I'll
Okay.
be asking you some questions regarding the
Mm.
ETO website. I'm doing a usability evaluation on their website. And are you familiar with the ETO website?
Yes.
Would you like to open the website in your phone and take a look?
Okay.
And then after you browsed through the website, I'll ask you some questions.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, just tell me, I'll ask you the questions.
Uh, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So the first question is, can you describe your overall experience navigating the ETO website, focusing on its ease of use?
Uh, Navigating the ATO website felt like navigating a mess. While all the information is probably there, it's not presented in the way that guides the user effectively. I had to rely heavily on the search bar, but even that was hit or missed.
Okay, awesome. The second question, were there any points during your task where you felt confused or frustrated? If so, could you explain what caused this issue?
Uh, I became confused when trying to calculate GST obligations.
Yeah,
There was too many links that leads to different explanations,
yep.
and I wasn't sure which one applies to my situation. The lack of clear step-by-step instructions made it stressful.
Okay. How would you assess the website's layout and its design in helping you locate its important information and services?
The design is functional but not user-friendly. There's no personalization or clear pathway for different user types like individuals, business, or tax agents.
Yep.
And it also feels like one size fits all approach, which doesn't work for complex service like taxation.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. This is the fourth question for you, Dupa.
Okay.
Did you find the language, terminology, and instruction on the website clear and easy to understand? Please, can you provide any example where it was either helpful or confusing?
The instructions are long-winded. For example, when I look up how to set up a PSG with holding, the process wasn't explained in the way straightforward manner.
Uh-huh.
It jumps between different pages without summarizing the steps clearly.
Yep. Okay, Dukpa, this will be your final question. If you could recommend any three key important to enhance the usability of the ETO website, what would they be and why?
I would recommend adding user-specific dashboards,
Yeah.
uh, enhancing visual clues like icons for major service, and integrating interactive guides or chat support for complex processes.
Yep. Thank you, Dukpa. Those were all good answers. You really helped me with this interview today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you.
Good morning, Daudema. Thank you for joining this interview.
Good morning. Pleasure.
I'm doing a usability evaluation of the ATO website. Do you know the ATO website?
Yeah, I've been living in Australia for a year and I have done my tax filing, so I am familiar with the ATO.
Oh, that's great. If you don't mind, would you search up the ETO website in your phone and take a look around before I ask you any questions?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you're ready,
Uh-huh.
I'll just ask you the questions.
So ATO website, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm up. You can ask the questions, please.
Okay, fantastic. So the first question is, can you
Mm-hmm.
describe your overall experience navigating the ATO website, focusing on the ease of use?
So I'm currently a student. So as a student filing my tax return, which I did last year around October, I found the ATO website a little bit intimidating. There's like too much going on and like nothing pointed to me like directly as a first time user because I have never tried like tax filing in Australia. So like it was nothing was very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
The resources as well. So like it wasn't like it didn't feel like welcoming for someone inexperienced like me as a student.
Awesome. So the second
Mhm.
question is, were there any points during your task where you felt confused or frustrated? If so, could you explain what caused that issue?
Yeah, so like one time I got stuck while trying to figure out if I was like eligible for certain deductions while filing the tax, and
Yep.
the information regarding that was like scattered, and the explanations were like too technical for me to like understand. And then I had to call my friend for help
Yeah.
who had experience in doing the tax filing. So yeah, that was the struggle.
Okay. So how would you assess the website's layout and design in helping you locate important information or services?
I would say the website lacks visual structure. Everything blends together, and um, there aren't like enough graphics or flowchart for the users to process it, and it's heavily text. Like it's everything is like text and technical words being used, which for which I have to be like really focused on the screen and then like literally understand what each word is trying to say. So yeah.
That was a great answer. So question number 4. Did you
Mhm.
find the language, terminology, and instruction of the website clear and easy to understand? Could you provide where it was either helpful or confusing?
Uh, I would say that the terminology used in the ATO was like more for like written for like accountants and for like people who are experienced with the like tax filing, and not for like people like us who are like first time users, or people
Mm-hmm.
who are like inexperienced to do the tax filing, and the words like accessible income
Mm-hmm.
weren't explained in front, like what that particular word meant.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very difficult for me to like get what the word was trying to say. And I did appreciate the grocery, but it wasn't linked within the content where I needed it the most. So like it was like the experience was so.
Ah, okay, I understand. So this will be the final question,
Mm-hmm.
Dawa. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
please.
nice. If you could recommend three key improvements to enhance the usability of the ATO website, what would they be and why?
Uh, I'm so sorry. Could you repeat the question again?
Okay.
Could you repeat the
So,
question?
so if you could recommend three key improvements to enhance the
Mm-hmm.
ATO website, what would they be
Mm-hmm.
and why?
I would suggest like create a beginner friendly, because like this is like solely like from my experience, personal experience being a first time user in ATO. So like maybe they should create a beginner friendly section,
Mm-hmm.
use more visuals to explain the process, or maybe add like videos in it to make the users like more comfortable and user friendly, and then link groceries, like hyperlink grocery terms directly within the content for like easier understanding for the users, especially like me.
Fantastic. That wraps up our interview. Thank you for taking your time today for this interview, Dawa. I really loved
Pleasure.
the answers.
Thank you so much. Me too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great day.